What's stupid is you're taking out student loans. How much are you taking out a semester? Are you taking it all out, or are you cash flowing any of it?
No. Okay. Well, this coming semester, I took out 20,000.
Took out what? Wait. What was the annual tuition? It was 10 something.
Well, with books and all that.
Books did not double it. I went through college. I did the books. They did not take it from 10 to 20.
Okay.
For a semester, should have been 5, right? If you said it was 10 something for an annual tuition.
Well, like 12.
Okay, but how do we get to 20 for a semester?
Well, no, for 2. For a whole year.
Okay,
For a whole year,
so how do we get to 20 again? Did you borrow for your, like...
I borrowed for the whole year next year. But
no, I get it, but how do we go from 12 to 20 though?
Oh, okay.
And yes, I do know books cost money, and if that was, which again, you should cash flow, but you could.
It's because I'm taking 4 grad classes next semester, and then 3 of them are in the evening, and I'm worried that I won't get enough hours, or my schedule won't fit me to get enough hours at UGB. You know what I'm saying? Because I work evening.
What's that the excuse for? What are you trying to excuse with that?
Oh, in case I need money to like pay bills.
Okay, so we're not paying for school right now in cash flow, and we're borrowing because we might need money. Okay, we might need money. As she goes and spends $500 on bull immediately. This makes no sense. You're getting coffee, getting burgers. We're getting some crap from the gas station because that was not enough money for gas, and then vending family and Starbucks and Canva and some Scorpion place and another restaurant and Lyft rides and Midnight and DoorDash and Social Spot and Discovery Plus and Chick-fil-A and Ulta and First Watch and Disney Plus. Yeah? So we can't pay for school because we need to set money aside just in case we don't have another job yet. You're going and spending dumb bull money, stupid money.
I go out once a week. That's
once a week. That is not once a week. I don't know what you consider going out. Guess what? There's like 4 weeks in a month. How many things did I just name off? What?
I didn't realize how bad it was.
Do you budget?
I try.
Okay, so you don't budget.
No, not really. I just pay off my card.
Hey, so this is probably the most vulnerable post I will have ever made in the history of time. And for those of you who this little blue halo is already triggering you, I'm so sorry. But I'm going to hopefully make you feel better, and I'm honestly having a weekly crash out. I need help from you as well. This is how much money I owe in student debt for my physician assistant degree. And before you go ahead and take out the phrase that is so commonly used, oh, but you knew how much you were taking out in the beginning. No, a lot of this has to do with interest alone accruing, while I am in a hell of a limbo of what we like to call administrative forbearance, trying to get into the SAVE plan. So I worked with a student loan counselor after I graduated, and I was told to consolidate all of my Direct Plus grad student loans to be one loan so that I could apply to the SAVE repayment plan. Right as soon as I started and submitted my application was when all the chaos happened in the courts, where they just can't get their head out of their ass and figure out what they're doing. And so I never actually got into the SAVE plan. And so I have been accruing interest at a 7% rate. I've not had to pay my monthly payment. My monthly payment has been $0 because of a previous tax return when I was making $0 income as a student. But still, this amount is a literal noose around my neck. And I don't think I will ever pay this off. I fear that I will not be able to ever own a home as someone still earning 6 figures salary. Let alone children. I would love and aspire to have a child someday, but this really, I don't want to say like makes me suicidal, but like it truly makes it really hard to get out of bed every morning. And I know I'm not alone. I know I don't even have it that bad. But I'm truly asking as a cry for help, like how you compartmentalize the stress of something like this, knowing that you'll never, ever get out of debt, because it would take an act of God to take this amount away. And people repay the principal loan multiple times over in situations like me, but they never get rid of their debt because of the system at hand. And that is what is so fucked about student loans for people in advanced degrees like doctor, nurse, anesthetist, nurse practitioner, physician assistant. What else can I think of? Any degree program that takes multiple loans and at least six figures to take out to go to these programs. And I did this to get a better life for myself, get a salary that actually amounted to something for my future family. And yet this is what happened. And a lot of it wasn't even the fault of my own, because I had no way of predicting that this would happen. Had no way of knowing that SAVE would not be around in the future. PSLF is my only option. I do work at a 501c3, but even then, the payment is like pushing almost $1,000 a month, and that will soon become even unaffordable for me. So yeah, I'm literally at a loss.
I'm not paying back my student loans. I do not care. Oh, but what about your credit score? What am I going to do with a good credit score? Buy a house on starvation wages? Buy a car I can't afford to insure? I'm not paying them back. I don't give a shit about my credit score. Oh, they're going to garnish your wages. Most of us are underemployed. If they start taking additional money out of my paycheck, I just won't work. My life will not get worse. I'm not going to have the money anyway, so you can't garnish what isn't there. I grew up in a far-right, conservative, hardcore Republican family, and since like kindergarten, I have been conditioned to believe that if I did not go to college, I would not be successful. I was told that if I locked in, got great grades in high school, got into college, focused, and got my degree, that I would have a life similar to the life my parents had, where my dad worked one job for like 35 years, was able to buy a house and go on vacation and support his family. That doesn't exist anymore. There's no jobs out there with pension plans. There's no jobs out there that let people my age just like buy a house. So what was all that work for? Generations of Americans have been told that if they went to college and they did the right thing, took out these loans, that it would be worth it. And most of us are finding out it's not even remotely close to worth it. You're telling me these millionaires and billionaires were able to get these PPE loans forgiven that they took out during the pandemic for millions of dollars, but I have 30 grand in college debt left and I'm refusing to pay it back, and now I'm the problem?
Let me tell you my thoughts about the student loan forgiveness, or the lack thereof, as someone who graduated school with over $220,000 worth of debt. Now, I will say this is not the norm. I graduated with a doctorate's degree, so I do have a little bit more debt than most people who just have a 4-year degree. With that said, I personally believe that it is no one's place to pay my loans but me. Some of y'all have forgotten what the word loan means. A loan is meant to be paid back by the borrower, not by someone else, not by raising somebody else's taxes. You chose to take out that loan. It is your place to pay it back. You are not entitled to forgiveness. I know this may rub people the wrong way, but I would rather pay on my loans for 10 years than to pay on everybody's loans for the rest of my life. Y'all really got me on here talking with pimple patches on my face, because I have seen one too many TikToks about this topic tonight, and how y'all are so mad because no one's going to forgive the loan that you took out. It's a loan. The problem is not the loan. The problem is the rising rates of tuition. For each year that I was in school, tuition rose at least $1,000 a year. Now ask me what additional resources I received each year as a result of that $1,000 tuition increase. I'll tell you none. You're mad at the government when you should be mad at the universities. You shouldn't have to take out a mortgage-sized loan to get an education. And let's face it, no one has over $200,000 just sitting around to go to school with.
You know, I really wish when I first got my student loans, I would have paid them off in the first year or two, but instead I waited a decade later and it ended up biting me in the ass. So here's a tip. Let's say you're going to school to be a nurse. To go to school to be a nurse is going to run you between 40 to 80 bands. In Illinois, a nurse starting off making $85,000 a year. So instead of balling out of control, trust me, I know you want to. That's a lot of fucking money. Instead of balling out of control like I know you really want to, take your first year or two and just pay your student loans back. You're gonna save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of fucking interest along the way. I know some doctors who went to school and it took them 15 to 20 years to pay their student loans off because they paid the minimum payment all the way through, and they end up paying like $500,000 back. And I know some doctors who took their first year or two, or maybe their third year, and paid it all, and they was fucking balling the rest of their fucking life. Trust me, I know you see all that money coming in. You're not used to seeing all that money, but calm down. Don't get the house. Don't get the car first. Stay at home for another year or two. Ask mom and pop so you can stay at home for at least another year or two. Pay your shit off, then ball out of fucking control if you want to. But at least your debt's paid off.
No, I'm not
And
alone. I know I
that
don't even have
get
it that
enough
bad,
hours, or my schedule
but I'm
won't fit
truly
me to
asking
do
as a
hours
cry
that
for
I should
help,
be.
like how you can
You know what I'm saying?
compartmentalize the stress of something like this,
What's that
knowing
the
that
excuse for?
you'll never,
What are you trying to
ever
excuse
get out
with
of
that?
debt because it
Oh,
will
it's not paying my student loans. The government keeps threatening all these things they're going to do to people if they don't pay their student loans. I don't think they realize we don't care. We don't have enough to care. We don't care about credit scores anymore. We don't care if you siphon our paychecks. We're just going to quit and move on to the next company because that company was probably going to fire us anyway. People don't stay at jobs like they used to. People aren't locked in to a job they have to stay at for 35 years because they're getting a pension and great benefits. Those things don't happen anymore. So if you threaten to siphon people's paychecks, they're just going to quit and go to another company because that company was probably going to go bankrupt anyway and fire everybody in the next couple months. This is going to be so much work for the government to siphon paychecks, and it's not going to get them enough money. They're going to end up losing money because they're going to have to hire thousands of people to try and get this money from people that don't have it. They're going to end up spending more money than they get in the long run. So these empty threats that they're giving us, they aren't scaring us. If the government's watching, it doesn't scare us. We don't have enough for that to scare us. So I won't pay the hospital then if you take my student loans out of my check. It's one or the other. We pay our health care and our medical bills, or we pay our student loan bills, or our credit cards, or our loans. Like, we can't pay it all. We're not making enough to pay it all. We're not sitting back and living in mansions, going on 20 vacations a year like the billionaires and saying, I don't want to pay my student loans. That's not it. We literally can barely afford life. We're just choosing which bills to pay. And the student loan one was taken off of the plate. I have less. Back when I was paying my student loans and the economy was a little better, I had more money back then, even with paying the student loans. I have less money now, and you want to take the student loans on top of it. I can't even be nervous about it because I can't afford it. I don't know what you're going to take from me, but whatever you take, that means I'm not going to pay something else because I don't have that kind of money. My job just doesn't pay that. It just doesn't.
So the Trump administration has announced that they are going to be collecting on student loans that are in default. If you are a federal employee, they're going to garnish your wages. You know, if you're not a federal employee, you might still get your wages garnished, but if you go to collections, you know, your credit score is going to drop. It could be on your taxes, like you're going to owe money on your taxes. I don't know. I don't understand how y'all could forgive all these billionaires who took out PPP loans when they didn't take no loss during COVID. Forgive all those loans, but don't forgive the 18-year-old who got $50,000 with no income, no credit history, because y'all told us that we need to go to college to get a good job. We don't get no forgiveness, but the billionaires who already get all these tax cuts, they get their loans forgiven. When I first graduated college, and you know, I think it's like 6 to 9 months before you get the letter to start paying back, my payment was like $580. And I'm just like, who the hell has $580? I just graduated college. Who has $600 to give y'all every month? And when I tried to change it, I'm like, I'm trying to make payments. I can't make no $600 payment. They were not trying, like, there was no leeway. It was deferred. So I deferred. And then, you know, about a year ago, well, over a year ago now, but over a year ago, my my company did mass layoffs and I got laid off, so then I deferred it again. But long story short, I'm going to get my master's degree. I need some more time, okay? I work for the bank. They're going to pay for it anyways. Might as well just go back and get some more time because I don't have $750 to give y'all, or however much money they're going to say that I owe them. I got trips to go on. I got stuff to do, okay? I don't have time. I will wait until we get some forgiveness for the next president to come in, because somebody's going to have to forgive something. Y'all could forgive the millionaires and billionaires. Y'all could forgive me, an 18-year-old who should have just went to trade school or some shit. What are y'all gonna do?